Hello, 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 everyone. Happy market close on Wednesday. Meta earnings. How is everyone doing? If you're not feeling well, make sure you call Teledoc. Does anybody have those earnings, by the way? I was looking right before the close and did not see it. I see it was up, though. Hello, hello, George. Hey, ho, Waka. Afternoon, Jacob. Afternoon, Anissa. Hiccup, is that what you call today? Yeah, Meta's getting wrecked. Meta's getting wrecked. We'll look at that in a second. Good afternoon, Patrick. Uh, did you like the video of Elon bringing in the sink? Is this the AOL Time Warner merger of the 2020s? oh, oh boy. So, Mark Zuckerberg will be homeless if he keeps investing in the metaverse. At least put legs on people. Come on, what ground does he have to stand on? What ground in the metaverse does he have to stand on if he can't even have legs in the metaverse? And I still don't know what the frig's the point. Why would I spend money on the metaverse? Can somebody enlighten me? I know I'm a little bit on the older side, but can somebody please enlighten me? So, is tomorrow's GDP a revision or it's a new number? We'll get to that. This is a good question, George. Because remember, there's a couple revisions. We get revisions after we get preliminary, then revisions, then you get the final number. And then, so, let's just get to that in a second. He won't be broke. He will just live in the metaverse instead, or in Hawaii. Let's see. Good afternoon. Interesting Canadian Fed Bank comments. I guess just interesting. Well, we had the Bank of Canada and their rate hike, and if anybody says pivot in here, I'm gonna just kick you. That's it. I mean, I don't want to hear the word pivot. I just don't want to hear the word pivot. We'll get to that. Thank you for being here, JJ. Thank you so much. So, and all the regulars and all the people hiding behind the scenes. All right. Well, let's get through this stuff. So tomorrow, there wasn't much today. We did have the Bank of Canada, only the 50 basis point hike, which supposedly was a pivot. And that means so many people. Does this mean the Fed next week's only going to go 50? No. Oh boy, the bulls were grasping for everything today. Not that a bull rally, it's still a technical rally. Although we have a topping pattern in the Nasdaq now. And pretty strong reversal with momentum bars. We'll get to that in a second. Tomorrow, durable goods orders. Now, here's what you were asking. George. Otherwise known as Geomission. GDP growth rate, this is the advanced for Q3. So this is the first shot at the Q3 numbers. Remember, Q1, Q2, we're both at the final number, we're both negative. That's why everybody says recession, even though it's not a recession technically not a recession indicator at this point for the technical definition of recession. It's forecasted 2.4%, so nowhere in contraction. I don't think anybody has on the radar screen for a print below zero. Okay, so I don't see anything shocking. Although you get a higher even than forecast number, you still got, from the Fed perspective, you still got strong economy, strong labor market, high inflation, and we'll get the PCE numbers on Friday. We do have the core PCE prices quarter over quarter advanced. We do have those PCE numbers in tomorrow, with expecting a slight contraction from previous. And then we have, of course, jobless claims Thursday, unless there is a big miss. Why would people focus on a big miss of continuing or initial? Because then it would fuel the Fed friggin' pivot. Although it's not a pivot, it would just be a slowdown. So let's just call it the Fed friggin' slowdown, which is not happening next Thursday or next Wednesday. So that's, do not ignore 1 hour before the open tomorrow. Don't be caught sleeping. Got lots of numbers coming out. And then it quiets down. 10 a.m. we got the Kansas City Fed composite and manufacturing. Big thing to watch for is if this is 0 or below. All right, it's a regional index, so it's not as major, but you know, from my perspective, it's just if it comes back in contraction mode, which is technically below 0, but 0 is right on the verge of contraction. It's just reinforcing the stuff I watch of how big the slowdown will go. All right. Market map. You can see tech is bleeding. Microsoft decent bounce. Never triggered the technical gap fill harmonics. Well, we can always peek into that if somebody reminds me when we have time. Apple, remember, earnings after the close tomorrow. Down 196 basis points. Google taking it after their poor earnings report yesterday, taking it in the shorts, overall a 9% drop. Meta, we'll take a look at that. And Amazon, remember, after the close also. Amazon down 410 basis points. Everything else was pretty green. The healthcare, I talked about that. Talked about healthcare in the weekly sector overview. So Tesla still up after hours? There's that Department of Justice self-driving probe now that came out. After Elon walks into Twitter with the kitchen sink. This is going to be a costly quarter for Elon. Group, this was pretty much all green partway through today, and then shifting. Communication services just hammered. Remember, that's been a long-term bear mode, and that's just getting its butt handed to it. Technology is also, remember, fast few years, technology leading up. Technology could be leading down significantly, but the bulls are in still the technical control of the market. Why not fundamental control? Because I don't believe we're anywhere near a fundamental bottom. This has been a technical rally so far. FOMC, I'm a little surprised how much this pulled back, but still at 89.3% for the 75 basis point. There's some interesting things back and forth with the yield curve. So that's what's going on. They're still in some negative gamma. I'm still keeping an eye. I don't know why that's not updating, but the 3,800 area is a key area I'm watching. We did pop into greed mode briefly intraday today. Intraday, we were in greed mode, which is at least could be feeding into a short-term topping pattern. I'll get back to comments in a second. Meta. Does anybody have Ford too? I was interested in Ford and Teladoc. I was glancing at them earlier, and then I had to jump to the live stream. But my main focus was on Meta. So tomorrow, by the way, before the open, Shopify, still incredibly overvalued. Mickey D's, important from inflation and a consumer standpoint and passing on inflation and everything. That's going to be interesting. Caterpillar's always interesting from a creative accounting standpoint to check in on. MasterCard, Visa was strong. Let's see if MasterCard prints strong too. And then for the airline fans, Southwest. And then don't forget, Amazon, Apple. I am going to be a little rally if you did, from my perspective, pick up some Intel. A great little rally to sell some covered calls into. So, yay, who wants Pinterest? Woo! All right. Now let's get back to the comments. Oh, boy. Oh, they're branching out. We're getting more different chatbots here. Fantastic. Mike says, don't say pivot, then says pivot. Yeah, I can say pivot. I just don't want anybody else to say pivot. Remember, rules for me, not for thee. Just kidding. I am so sick of that word. Can we just ban it? Because there eventually will be a pivot. It will come after pause. We're going to get pause first. And going from 75 to 50 is not a pivot. Yeah, we have, well, you know what? Maybe it's bullish news. Hello, options 22. P-Dub, I've been a bear and kicked the markets arse over the last 10 months. I'm starting to agree with Bob. I think we'll see a move up over the next 2 months. I think it starts tomorrow. McDonald's will beat. I just bought a cheeseburger from. Well, you had to buy the cheeseburger a little bit ago. It's not. That's going to affect next quarter's report, Coco, if you bought it today. Facebook ban equals metapause. Oh, jeez. Oh, please. Don't all right, that was P Dub's comment. It's actually pretty. That's a funny joke. But please don't put something in the comments and get me for that. John the spiders will go for $3.95 tomorrow. That's been around for a couple days now. Yes, we have, especially on the East Coast, very low diesel supplies. Can you check? Yes. See, now this is a valid double on the 4-hour in the Nasdaq. Let's just take a look. Running up pretty much right in front of the next harmonic and then falling back. Now this, on a daily basis, is a fantastic area for a trail. If you've been longer from a run up, is a fantastic area now to trail a stop below today's low. This got toppy after that insane run up where literally the bulls were having some massive happy dance saying the lows were in, and then the about face with the pretty decent sell-off. So, cycle's still at the top. Still slightly out of overbought condition, but no substantial pullback. So great idea for a trailing stop. Holding above the 50 exponential, which is now support, which is also another reason this is a great trailing stop area. We start breaking down. Start breaking down now. By the way, no double top, just 2 tops, but this will be a really interesting point, though. Below 38.25, you're not into a clear path. This is called a single candle clear path, which targets the breakdowns, or in this case, it'd be the breakout zone, right at the 4-hour rotation zone. So that's my key first overnight level. We get below there. My next key area is roughly about 37.80. Why 37.80? This is where I will use a key high back from last Tuesday, not yesterday, but the prior Tuesday with the rising rotation zone. And then we have, hold on, 37.80, and then I'm bumping this down just a hair. I'm bumping this down just a hair to the key closing level. Then I'm at about 30, what is this? 37.60.